So you wake up, you're on Steam and you're looking for a new survival game. You open the top sellers tab, passing through all the overhype, you find Project Zomboid. It's got some good reviews, so you buy it. Hop in a new game, build your ideal character, and well, die. A lot. For most players, the never-ending result of no progress turns them away. However, for the strong-willed who happen to stumble upon this video, you've come to the right place. Hi guys, I'm Pelagro. I'm going to try and help you stop this never-ending cycle of death. So without further ado, let's jump straight into character creation. In the occupation trait scheme, you will notice, occupation and traits. Most new players are going to gravitate to professions like veteran or police officer for the aiming and reloading skills, or because you just thought the occupation would just be cooler and overpowered. These occupations aren't necessarily bad, but for someone that is struggling to get past their first week or month, I would recommend choosing something more noob-friendly. Well, what is considered noob-friendly? For me, noob-friendly would be occupations that offer a decent amount of points to spend with a decent skill range. To put it simply, occupations I would recommend to long-term players are as follows: carpenter, fire officer, farmer, and maybe mechanic. The reason I say maybe is because mechanic begins with negative points. However, it skips one big grind of early game. We'll get into that later. One choice that may surprise you as the best occupation is unemployed. However, I only recommend this for people who have a good knowledge on how the skills work in this game. Alright, you've chosen your occupation. It's time for the traits. I'm not going to make a whole segment on what all the traits will do. Maybe in another video I'll cover that. But I'll give you a list of traits that are extremely good to bring for your run. First, let's start off with some of the negative traits. These traits will negatively affect your character, but give you more points to spend on positive traits. This is based strictly off of single player. I can do a multiplayer character build guide in the future. But for now, let's start with the basics. The first negative trait you should always be grabbing is slow reader. These are an easy 2 points due to the fact that in single player, you can skip time. This trait in the future, I believe, will be rebalanced. However, as of right now, it's an easy 2 points. The second trait you will be grabbing is weak stomach. Again, these are another easy 3 points due to the fact that you should never be eating rotten food or anything that has the possibility of being bad. The third negative trait you should always be grabbing is prone to illness. This perk is controversial because it adds 4 points. However, illness is a big issue that can easily lead to death. Illness can be caused by eating bad food, drinking bad water, and natural elements like rain and cold. Don't get illness confused with zombification. This trait will not increase chance of zombification when scratched or lacerated. The reason I choose this perk will become more clear later in the video. Next trait will be slow healer, granting you 6 more positive points. You should always try your best to stay out of danger. That's kind of self-explanatory. However, if you are injured with this perk, just wait out time indoors or in safety. You have time skip, so it's just an easy perk to grab. The effects are not too noticeable in my opinion. And for the last perk, I always choose very underweight. This perk is controversial as well. However, it is confirmed to be a better choice than obese due to the fact that you can still choose the fit trait in the positive trait segment, which does fix the negative 2 fitness you get from it. It's also not a long-term perk, meaning you can gain the weight back in about 10 days, so it's a very nice perk to grab in the negative trait segment. Now onto the positive traits. I usually start with massive game-changing traits first, then work my way to the top based on how many points I have left. For me, I usually always choose Stout, which adds positive 2 strength. Strength is a huge factor in Zomboid. It increases base weapon damage, chance to knock over zombies with pushes, and the amount you can carry. If I'm running very underweight, I always choose Fit so I can get back that fitness I lost. This makes it so we can run further and do more things before we get exhausted. Note that running will lead to your death. Only run when you absolutely need to. The next positive perk I grab is Lucky, for better loot drops strictly. A very good cheap perk is Wakeful. When your character gets tired, that's an extremely bad sign if you're in the middle of combat. You will do significantly less damage while tired, so Wakeful gives you more time in the day before your character gets drowsy. Remember when we were talking about prone to illness? A positive perk to help counteract that is Outdoorsman. This makes it so you can go out in the rain or be in the cold without catching any illnesses. This is extremely important if you're prone to illness. Dexterous is another cheap trait that does a lot more than you would think. Being in the field, zombies may spawn with gear visibly on them. Picking this gear up quickly is important to survival, so Dexterous makes it so you can pick things up a lot quicker. It's also just a nice trait to have. Cat's Eyes is a great perk that lets you see more at night. However, in my opinion, Nighttime I usually spend in my base, or if I went out at night I would just bring a flashlight, so this is completely up to you. These are perks I always run in my builds. However, if I end on one positive, I always bring Speed Demon. However, I never do it the other way around. This means never take Sunday Driver. Some more great options are Keen Hearing, which adds more vision to everything behind you, and Fast Learner for quicker XP gain. Alright, you're finally ready to survive. You create your character and load in. I'm not going to tell you what other tutorials have told you, like, first things first, we need a weapon. No shit. However, one big tip I can give you is to have a game plan and be patient with it. Depending on where you spawn, it will be different. For me, I try to gather as many late game supplies as possible without encumbering myself. Carrying too much in Zomboid is a death sentence. It slowly over time exhausts you, and a man who can't walk is a dead man. The supplies I try and get early game are tools like a screwdriver, saw, hammer, nails, and maybe an axe if possible. The reason I try and get these early is due to base building or securing a location. The first thing you should be doing when the game starts is finding a watch. Watches spawn on zombies and they are quite common. Just be careful that one that you pick up doesn't already have a preset alarm on it. The reason you need this watch is because of TV broadcasts, specifically the show called Life and Living. Yes, I know, every video you watch brings up TV broadcasts. In all reality though, these TV broadcasts are simply overpowered. You can level up early game skills super fast without the need of book. The TV show only comes on at certain times, so the times you need to remember are 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 18 o'clock. I usually skip the 6 and 18 shows though, and only hit the carpentry show at 12 o'clock. The reason these shows are so important is because they are not on forever. Eventually the TV broadcast goes down, and shortly after that, so does the power. So you made it past your first day. You didn't go blasting zombies with the shotgun you found off that dead cop. You looted a little bit and stayed inside for the first of the TV shows. You were patient. Many of your first days should look like this. Eventually, you will have to go out and find a place to base at. The choices are endless. Just know that rural areas tend to have less zombies. We need to keep one thing very clear throughout this video. If you do not get decent loot early in the game, then that's okay. Don't throw yourself at a giant storage facility with hundreds of zombies, just because you couldn't find that saw you were looking for. Patience is so important in Zomboid. The impatient survivors that run around always die. Eventually you will gain the confidence and gear to pull off dangerous stunts, but for now, if you couldn't find that saw, go for someone's garage instead of that huge facility infested with zombies. Take your time, loot all the houses. Just be aware that house alarms are a thing, so get out of there when that happens. You've now survived a wee bit longer than you would have now, and you want to make your current shelter more secure. This is extremely important, and it's a big thing I do in my runs. The reason the saw, screwdriver, hammer, and nails are important is barricading and building. Before we even begin barricading, we need books. Specifically for building, we need carpentry books. Where can you find such books? Well, if you chose to spawn at Riverside, West Point, or Rosewood, you have schools that offer endless knowledge. This knowledge comes in the form of libraries inside the school. Didn't get the book you're looking for? Fear not, most towns come with bookstores, so you may find one you're looking for there. Just realize that these bookstores and schools usually have a heavy amount of zombies, so don't stay for too long. So you got your books and made it back safely at your base. Plop down in front of your TV, make sure you have food and water, and begin reading. Reading takes forever when you don't use time skip, but just make sure you click the 3 arrows at the top of it and not the clock. Clicking the clock does make time go by faster, however I have died because it's just too fat. Alright, you read the book, you now have an XP multiplier. You can now start deconstructing furniture inside your shelter to get planks and nails. Don't worry about producing many materials while deconstructing furniture. You will get a lot of XP no matter what. If you need to go to other buildings and start deconstructing with this multiplier, go for it. Eventually you'll level up, and depending on what level you are, the multiplier will slow down. Make sure you get multiple of these books when you're looting to be safe. I always grab the beginner's book, the intermediate book, and the advanced book. Books get heavy, so I oftentimes do not grab the expert book, but if you plan on grinding out levels, make sure you at least have some book. This goes for every skill, like mechanics or electricity for example. Leveling up is as simple as doing normal tasks like taking tires off a car and putting them back on for a mechanic skill, or dismantling extra digital watches you found for electricity skill. It's a large grind that can be made easier with the help of books. Anyways, now you have been deconstructing things for XP, you now have materials at your disposal, most notably planks and nails. All you have to do to put up a simple barricade on windows or doors is to pick both of these items up, have a hammer, and right-click the window or door you wish to barricade, and hit the barricade button. Trying to put a whole wall up or perhaps build your own base, right-click on the ground, select carpentry, then wooden frame. After you've built the wooden frame, right-click on the wooden frame, and then there's your options. Depending on your carpentry skill, you can build higher durability walls. I aim to be level 6 carpentry in all my runs due to the ability to create stairs and wooden gates. Well done, Survivor. With the knowledge you've gained from this video, you can officially survive your first week. Your base is now secure for the time being. This video isn't to tell you how to play the game in mid to late game, but to help new players get a grip on the new game. In the end, you will die. A lot. However, it's the knowledge you've learned from the last run that progresses you into the next. I barely scratched the surface in this video. There's so many more tips I could teach you, but I'll save those for another video. Alrighty, survivors. I'm Poligro. It's been an honor. I'll see you guys in the apocalypse. Peace out.